How are we doing today?
Fine.
Yeah? Okay. Good. How was breakfast? I saw a couple of you at breakfast today. Yeah. I don't usually get breakfast, but I don't usually eat lunch or either. I just have it. But I didn't. This morning was very busy, so I didn't have any breakfast, so I had to get something. Got some orange juice and a couple of muffins and stuff. How'd your essays go? Did you guys work? Did anybody work on your essay last night? Nope. Okay, good. I'm just checking. That's all right. So this writing project, right? This essay is due tonight, right? Is the plan you're turned in, and the typing, which we're also doing this week, right? Doing this week. Separately is due Saturday night. So, and what that means is I will log in. I have a way of looking at reports over specific time frames. So I will set the typing.com program to look at Sunday at at midnight, from this week all the way till Saturday at midnight, and say, okay, how much did John type during this period of time? How much did Hung type at this period of time, right? How much did each of us do in those things? So that's how I know what you're typing or not. Okay, I can look at that. And then no notebook transfer, no my ELT. Yay! We will start these up again next week. Yes? Do your typing. That's the short. Right? Do your typing. 1 hour for the whole week. Before Saturday at midnight. So you can do it on Saturday. But before midnight. Okay? Before midnight. Just like the other ones. Okay, so this week we're doing our writing a descriptive essay. That's our writing project. Finish it up. We talked about the rubric, talked about the first draft and revisions and things like that. Today we're going to do a lot about the peer review. We're going to do a peer review. And then revise that, and then your final draft is due tonight. Okay, so schedule, we'll review the parts of an essay. I kind of updated my essay revision checklist. Hopefully it's a little easier and better here. We'll see. Then we'll talk about a peer review. What are the steps? How does it work? Then we'll actually do the peer review and take a break, and then we'll go to the lab. You guys can do your personal edits there. No, sorry. We're going to the lab here. So you guys can do the peer review because all of your stuff is on the computer, right? So you got to go to the computer to do it. And then we'll take a break, something like that. And look, this is a little complicated because I wanted you guys to have the laptops, but someone else is using them today and I can't get them. So we have to go to a lab and the labs are busy. Yeah, anyway.
Personal edit, what is it?
Say it again?
Personal edit.
Personal edits. Okay, so the process of a peer review is I write stuff, give it to my peer goes, hey, this is wrong, and then you fix what they say. That's the idea of personal edits, right? So we're fixing the things that they say, and once all of that thing is clear, then we do grammar and commas and periods and semicolons and stuff like that. Then we do the grammar stuff at the very, very, very end, okay? That's the idea. Okay, so rubric, we talked about that a bunch. It's important, so if you have any questions, go to the rubric. I'm not going to talk about it today. So the 5 parts of paragraph, we talked about this too, right? Introduction, body, 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 conclusion, topic sentences, supporting sentences, concluding sentences, some kind of a hook. Again, I'm not going to grade you on the hook, but narrating of ideas and thesis statement, that's important. Inversion of the thesis in some way, and a body, paragraph, point, suggestion, opinion, conclusion, or prediction. We'll talk about that in a second too. So this is the key or the important part that I wanted to talk about today. The essay revision checklist. So let's do it. 3 main questions that you need to ask yourself. Do I have an introduction? Do I have a body? And do I have a conclusion? Yes or no? Okay. Good. If you have all of those 3 things, that's a very good start. You got to have it. Without it, it's not an essay. You got to have all 3. Okay, so we're going to go through each one of these with more detail as we work through this checklist. Right. So first question, do I have an introduction? How do you know, right? Do I introduce the topic, right? Big, open, broad topic of whatever I'm talking about. Do I narrow to a specific thesis throughout that introduction? Am I focusing on a specific point? During that process of narrowing, do I address opposing views? Some people say this, but it's better if it's this way, right? So some experts say this negative thing, but this positive thing is better, right? This opposing views.
So we have to, in our essays, usually we have to have an opposing view.
This is a mark of advanced level writing. Yes. Okay. I will not grade you on this. This is not part of the rubric. Okay. It's not in there. Right? Yeah. We'll talk about this next week. Well, yeah, probably next week.
Because I think
It's okay.
The topic,
Yeah.
with our topic, we try the example. What is what is your favorite traditional?
Yeah.
So on that times on that if for that topic, how we can do opposite view?
Yeah, very, very easily, right? You say, some people don't celebrate this, but we celebrate it because it's this way. Okay? You just address that there are differences. Some people don't like this holiday or this tradition, but other people think it's wonderful. There you go. Okay? Maybe use a little bit higher quality words than that basic idea. Some people participate in this tradition this way, but in my family we do it this way, or something. Does that make sense? You're addressing and pointing out that there are differences of opinion. Does that help?
Yeah, I know that, but a lot of time I read the article or read the essay, I didn't see that.
Okay, you won't see it a lot in articles, like newspaper articles, because that's not their style. But in essays, this is one of the marks of something that's a higher quality essay. Okay, to address in some way. Some things are this way, but this way's better. Okay? It's an easy thing to put in. It's a single sentence you can put in to kind of lift the quality of your essay.
So where we can put that?
It'd be about in this order, right? So here's your first sentence, kind of the second, third sentence right here, then your thesis is the last sentence. Okay, so first, second, third, fourth-ish sentences in that order. Okay. One, two, three, four sentences. You're good. You might do, so this is usually one sentence.
Yeah.
This might be two sentences, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Often this opposing views can even be part, like a little introduction to your thesis. Some people say that Christmas is too commercialized, but I believe that Christmas is still a family holiday because it does this and this and this. There's my thesis. And the opposing views wrapped inside of one sentence. Does that make sense? You can do both there in one piece. But these, I'm not trying to identify them as individual sentences, but do these functions happen? Do you introduce the topic in some way? Yes or no? Do you narrow to a specific thesis through your paragraph? Yes or no? Do you address opposing views in some way? Yes or no? Do you have a thesis? Is it specific? That's another part. Better? Okay. Step at a time, right? Remember when you play sports, right? At first you're not very good, and then you practice and you get better. It's okay. A little bit at a time. Next question. Do I have a body? Yes, I do. It's right here. Yay. Okay, no. Thesis body, essay body. So in each paragraph, you need to ask yourself, right? The body's made up of those 2, 3, 4-ish, 5 body paragraphs. Inside of each paragraph, do I have a topic sentence? Does the topic sentence relate to the thesis? Right? It needs to fit into the thesis in some way. If I have a topic sentence and it doesn't make sense to my thesis, then it shouldn't be there. You need to change it, you need to fix it in some way, okay? Does the topic sentence have a controlling idea? Right? We talked about that a lot. Then do I have supporting sentences? Are all of the supporting sentences related to the main idea and controlling idea in that paragraph? And then are all of the supporting sentences related to each other? Is there a logical flow? Do they make sense in what I'm saying? Or do I just have a bunch of sentences together? Okay. Do I have a concluding sentence that logically concludes the paragraph by doing one of these things? Making a prediction about the future, or making a prediction about the next paragraph. Okay. I will talk about this here in a minute or something. Am I stating an opinion because of all these things that I said, or therefore, or thus, or in conclusion, something? Or am I making a summary of it? All of these things are very important for how we do our traditions, or how is anybody describing their house? You got a house, right? So all of these things were very important for the family unity in our home, or something like that, right? You can talk about that. Or all of these pieces of our home are very important for keeping us safe from the weather, or something. I don't know, depending on how you set it up. Make some kind of a summary, a logical conclusion to it. Yes?
So for this 3 points, would you one?
One, yes. You make a prediction, or state an opinion, or make a summary, right? Not all three. Good question. Okay, then repeat that process for every single body paragraph. Check every single one individually. Next. Concluding paragraph. This is the end. We haven't talked very much about this. This is kind of an overview. But these are kind of the components of a concluding paragraph. So do I have a restated thesis? Okay, and that means I have a thesis up in the introduction. It says I'm going to talk about these 3 things, 1, 2, 3. In the introduction, in the first sentence of your conclusion paragraph, you should put that in there again, okay? Not copied, but in there also. You guys have heard this before, right? We've talked about it before. You're like, no, maybe. Yes, we have. I was there. This is an important part. I will not grade you on this essay, but for the next essay we'll talk about it a lot more. But when you invert the thesis, so for example, when you do your thesis statement, you'll say you did houses, right? What were the 3 things about your house that you wrote?
Describe about my house.
Right.
My memories.
Okay.
And import my
Impressions. Okay, so the house, the memories, and the impressions of that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So in the order of your thesis, you have the description of my home, the memories, and then my impressions. Right, those 3 things. So in that order, when you write your body paragraphs, you go in that order. So the first thing in your thesis is the first body paragraph. The second thing is the second body paragraph. The third thing is the third body paragraph. Right? Okay, we've got that part. When you do your concluding paragraph, that first sentence is that thesis, but in reverse order. So you start with, as we can see, the impressions, memories, and description of my home have affected me and and helped me to be a better person. I don't know what you said. Whatever is that. Okay, so
different.
Right, what?
Totally different.
Totally different. You flip it around on purpose, right? And that makes it logically follow, because the thing that you just finished with in that last paragraph is the first thing that you mentioned, so they connect, right? And then the second thing, and then the third thing, and there's a pattern that makes sense in the English head, right? But again, I'm not going to grade you on this kind of thing. This is just an important thing to know. We'll kind of practice it more next week. Here, do I have future steps that should be taken because of my essay? So you guys are doing a descriptive essay. So you're describing your house, you're describing your tradition, you're describing your family or the picture or something like that. In your conclusion, you need to write something about, so what? I wrote this thing, and my house is cool, my traditions are awesome, this picture is beautiful. Therefore, what? Everyone should think about their home so that they can have good memories. People should practice this tradition because it brings families closer together. This picture is beautiful. I wish more people would take of these kinds of beautiful pictures so that we could share them with each other, etc. Right? We're indicating that because of all of these good things that I've talked about, or maybe bad things, right? These things that we've talked about, therefore, what should happen in the future? This picture is beautiful, it touched my heart, therefore you should share it with your friends because it will touch their heart as well. Right? Something, depending on whatever your topic is. That's this idea of future steps that should be taken because of what you wrote. That's the idea. That's how you conclude an essay in some way. You have to tell them why. What are we doing? So what? Why did we write this? Okay? Then the last one, clearly state the result that taking these future steps will have. So I think that everyone should take more pictures, like with the picture example, because pictures will bring people closer together. When people are closer together, we will be more patient and the world will become a better place. It's a little cliche, but it's a conclusion and it's a result and it feels like the end of an essay. Oh yeah, pictures, life, or family, right? The house and the memories and impressions. Wow, that's hard for me to remember. So the house is this way. Because of the experiences, because of the memories and the impressions and the appearance of my home growing up, I learned many wonderful things that have helped me to become a better person. I don't know if that's what you're going for. Whatever. I miss my family. I don't know. But because of that, we should all value our homes more and the time that we spend together, because those things help us to be a better person as we age. If everyone were to value the time they spend with their families more, then we would all be more patient and kind or whatever like that with each other, right? We would have a better world. Make sense, right? So we go through, we restate our thesis. Why are we talking about this stuff? What are the future steps? I said all of this stuff, therefore, so what? And then this will be the end happy result of, or sometimes terrible result, right? Because sometimes we write essays about bad stuff, but this is all good stuff, right? Clearly state the result that taking these future steps will have. Better? Does that make sense? Okay. Now after all of that is done, and you've answered all of these questions. If you answer all of these questions with a yes, then you're probably done, okay? You probably have a pretty good essay. The last step, after we've done all of that, after all of the ideas are clear and the structure makes sense, and my meaning is there, and my concluding sentences and paragraphs and steps and future predictions and all that kind of stuff is all in there, then we go through and go, okay, grammar, commas, periods, capitalizations, pieces, parts, spelling. Okay? Do that thing last. And that is a psychological trick of how your brain works. Okay? So it's a lot easier to think of cool ideas and organize my cool ideas and place my cool ideas and restructure my cool ideas and copy and paste my new ideas. Get that awesome. And then turn that part of your brain off. That idea generation cool thing, turn that off and shift into grammar. And just focus. Grammar, you can do it faster, easier, and better if you let your brain do kind of one thing at a time. Either generate cool ideas and organize things, or edit and polish and remove and stuff like that. Make sense? Okay, so I think that's my whole checklist right there. Yeah, editing its own lesson. If you need help, Grammarly's awesome. You guys know Grammarly, right? You know Grammarly. Yes, right? Grammarly's great. And that's pretty much it. Any questions about that? I know there's questions about conclusions. We'll talk about that a little bit more next week. But basically, do those ideas make sense? Of how that's like the full checklist structure of an academic essay. If you were to follow these steps when you're writing an essay, say for the TOEFL, you would get a very good score. Okay? On the TOEFL, yes.
For me, I have problem. I don't know how we can do the beginning of next paragraph. How we can begin? That mean change the paragraph.
Body paragraphs, right? From
Yeah,
body
body.
paragraph to body paragraph to body
Yeah.
paragraph. That is the way you start the paragraph is with some kind of topic sentence. Okay?
Yeah.
And the way that the easiest way to connect them is with the concluding sentence of the previous paragraph. So instead of trying to restart it inside of a new paragraph, you end it with kind of an opening on the previous paragraph. So your concluding sentence kind of concludes and then predicts or indicates, hey, there's this new topic that's coming, and then you start your new paragraph with that new topic. Does that help?
I know that, but it's really difficult for me to make I know the topic of next paragraph,
Mhm.
but I don't know how we can relate it with the another paragraph I wrote before.
Don't do that, right? Yeah, don't do that. Because what's making the relationships is the thesis. So you want each of your paragraphs to relate specifically to the thesis. And then the thesis, that's why we have a thesis, because I can go, oh, this is how all this works. I don't need really tight connections between paragraphs because everything's already relating to the thesis. Does that make sense?
We don't need to connect it with
Not
this
really.
paragraph.
Not really, yeah. Because that's the purpose of a thesis. It makes that connecting structure within the essay. Yeah. That's a good question. Okay. Alrighty, peer editing. Peer editing, what is that? Okay. I have a sheet for you guys. Very simple, just one page. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So what we do with this? Well, let's read these one at a time, right? So first, writer. Okay, that's obvious. The writer is not you. Okay, it's the other person, right? Because we're editing somebody else's stuff, right? The peer editor, that's you. Okay, you are the peer editor. And date I'm not concerned about, that's okay. So number one, right? First question. What is being described? Oh, sorry, this is the outline one, that's fine. What is being described in the essay instead of outline? What is being described in the essay? And then so for home, that was
Building.
house, right? Building, impression, feelings. In yours, it's tradition. In John's, it's places. Good. Favorite building, Sister Rose. Tradition.
Day of my life.
Day of my life, exactly, right? So that's what's being here. Day of my life, stuff like that. Okay. Is the hook interesting? Is the hook there? Because I don't really care about the hook. Don't worry about the hook. Okay. Number 3. What is the general impression that the reader, that's you, will get from reading this description? What do you feel, right, from it? As you read this essay, do you like the description? Can you see what he's describing? Yes or no? Okay. Are you, so what was yours again?
Place to relax.
A place to relax, okay? So as you read that, can you imagine this place and do you feel just a little bit more relaxed having read through this essay, right? Or something. Okay? What is being described in the topic sentences of each body paragraph? 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Are they describing the physical location, the colors, the impressions and feelings, the family interactions? What? Just write those down. What are these pieces? Okay, and then number 5. Are the supporting details related to each topic sentence? Okay, so this is inside of the paragraph. Do these things make sense to each other like we talked about? Okay. How will the writer end the essay? This is pointing at the conclusion, right? Does this make sense? Does the conclusion read well? And then, number 7. Do you think the essay will be interesting? Yes or no? Write any additional suggestions here. Okay. So this is a very simple peer edit. Okay. We're not. How many grammar questions did you see?
No.
None. That's not what we're doing. Okay. This is not a grammar editing exercise. It is ideas and connections and logic and understanding. Now, there's some sentences there that you can't understand because the grammar is difficult. Okay, maybe we need to fix those things. But maybe 2 sentences in the entire essay at most, right? We're focusing on logic and ideas, and are we following the patterns? Do I have the right paragraphs? Those kinds of things. That's the goal for this activity, okay? So what you will do, let's see, what time do we have? Oh yeah, we got plenty. What we're going to do is stay here. We're going to go to the lab, the ESL lab down there. You're going to log into each of your essays, right? Bring it up for your essay. And then we just have you guys stand up and move to different seats so you can edit somebody else's thing, okay? It's just easier that way. And then, this is what you fill out. And you write down all these questions and these answers, and there's about that essay as you read it. And what you feel, what you think, what are some suggestions, how can you help? And the key here is here, right? You are a friend trying to help them get a good grade. You are not, the teacher trying to tell them what they did wrong, or whatever, right? Any other way that you can think of that. We're friends, we're nice to each other, let's try and help the best we can. What would help this essay be the best, right? Be the best it can be, right? And then you move back to the author, and then you guys will talk about it. Okay, here's my sheet. This is what I filled out for you, John. Okay, bring up your essay, let's talk. So I said this because of this, and then I said this because of this, and this because of that. And I think if you did this right here, it'll make the essay better because of that. Make sense? Okay? And we talk about it. And then we switch. He does it for mine, we talk, okay, here's this piece, we discuss. That's the process of a peer edit. Okay. Any questions? Awesome. Okay, take a 10-minute break. No. We barely started class. Okay, so let's do this now. So the first step is kind of clean up. We're not going to come back here. So grab all your stuff, head down to the lab down there. Okay. The ESL lab. What? We're not going to come back here. Yeah. So head down to the ESL lab and get into a computer and bring up your essay on Microsoft Office or on Calculator or whatever. Okay, go for it. And we'll head down.